My relation to Bunpan is that he's my granddad. He's my dad's daddy, or was my dad's daddy. That's how I'm related to him. Do I know his real name? That's a good question. I didn't know his real name up until 1993. That's when he received the MBE. We got a newspaper from St Vincent, and in that newspaper they revealed his real name, Nathaniel Jeremiah Guy. What was significant about his achievements was the fact that his achievements, what's significant to me is the fact it's the legacy that's behind. He's left an organization that in 1989, when he retired, was actually had a membership of 37,000 people. I mean, St Vincent alone has got 100,000 people, so you imagine, you work that out yourself. What he did, it kind of helped, well, it didn't kind of, but it actually helped so many people that was in a position that they couldn't help themselves, and they needed to get together under this organization to help themselves to achieve, you know, the things they needed to achieve. Yeah, the organization that he set up was called, what was known then and still is known, it was a friendly society. My understanding of a friendly society is a society that was set up to help the people in the community. It was set up to help the poor of the poorest. You know, those who didn't have like enough money even to start a bank account. So the society was set up in a way to help people to pool money together under one organization. Friendly societies, from what I understand, started, I don't know the exact date, but I know they used to exist in England, but they started in the Caribbean in times after the emancipation, probably years after. But before that, before the friendly societies, there used to be other ways people helped each other. Because after slavery, after the emancipation of slavery, slavery came to an end. People found themselves, you know, developing the thing what we call peasantry, and from the peasantry, you know, people were just in poor state really. They were just doing farming and, you know, subsistence farming and so forth. So they had to help each other. They had to have means of helping each other. And one of the things they used to do is exchange labor. Though, you know, one person would do something for another person and vice versa. Another thing that developed was susu. All this thing leading up to a friendly society, because susu was like, it still exists today. Some people call it partner, some people call it susu, and there's other names, but it's really just putting your money together, like 10 people. Give an example, they may put £10 in each week, each person, and then they've got £100 in total, and each person has a turn to draw the hand, to draw the money, so you draw the total amount of money in one go. But the friendly society actually came about because after that period, you know, when Susu started and so forth, there was a period in the Caribbean history when the cholera epidemics was going through the Caribbean, and it killed so many people. Those that were really poor, they didn't have nothing to back up, no insurance, nothing, you know, nothing to back up to get finance to get at least a basic Christian funeral, as they call it. So what happened, the burial societies came about because people used to go from house to house, actually begging their neighbors for materials to build a coffin. This is how bad it was. But the burial societies came in place to sort of have a place where you can pool your money together, and when those times came when you lost a loved one, they could draw from that pool of money that was there, because they didn't have enough money to start a bank account or so forth. And anyway, that was how the burial societies started. So Bunpan started a friendly society that was basically a development from the burial societies, because in the friendly society there was a little bit more. you could have also you could have your material needs taken care of. So it wasn't just a funeral. Funeral was the main thing, but you could have your, your material needs taken care of. And also with Bunpan, or Nathaniel, his real name, my granddad, he developed an idea where he would offer scholarships to young people that was going into senior education. So, as I said, Friendly Society had a little bit more, and that's what it basically was, in a nutshell. I mean, there's obviously more, and I'm hopefully I can hear from others. Other people can tell me, what they think of what it is. There was actually other societies on the other side of the island, the leeward side, and there was a guy named Sandy Isaacs, and another guy named Hamilton Straker that worked with Bunpan. Bunpan worked on the leeward side after he came back. He actually went away as a young man at 17. He went to Curacao, where he worked in the oil industry. When he came back in his early 20s, he was actually working for the Friendly Societies on the leeward side, because that's where they were more established. And from working with these guys, he actually decided to set up an organization in Mespo, and he called it the Mariquai United Friendly Society. And that's where he was working with Isaac and Hamilton Straker. And Sandy Isaacs was the president at the time of the Mespo Society. And but in 1954, Bunpan had the foresight to register the Mariquai United Friendly Society. He registered that, and that became an independent organization. And then he actually became president. He taking the position of Sandy Isaacs, and he was president up until 1989. What do I think of Bunpan as a young man? Well, as I said before, he went away at 17 to Curacao, which is an island in the Dutch Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela. He went there to work for 3 years and 10 months as a young man. So from that I don't know nothing else about my granddad in terms of personal life, in his family and so forth. But what I do know from that piece of information is that he must have had a bit of motivation to, at 17, still a teenager, leaving St Vincent, leaving his family to go and work in the oil industry. So I think he was a forward-thinking person, a person who was motivated, a person who didn't sit down on his backside. So that's what I think of him in the little information that I have about him. How do I feel about how people think about him now? Well, to be honest, living here in England, away from St Vincent, I don't visit St Vincent often enough. I don't speak to Vincentians often enough. Those that I've spoke to in England, the ones of my generation and younger, don't tend to know Bunpan. So I think this film here is going to be a good way of promoting or just his memory. I think the older generation still remember him. I think obviously those in St Vincent will actually remember him well. And so that's it. I think the memory will be stirred up from this video, from this film. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the MB from the Queen was beautiful for him to receive, and it's just nice as children to know that our grandparents or granddad done something basically that's significant, and the legacy lives on.